E-er,
E or
E-er.
Is this what we're doing to like start the video?
Yeah,
wait a
yeah,
minute, maybe that could be the signal.
it is the signal, dumbass. Welcome back. This is the IPA Season 12 Mag Year Draft Analysis. Who we got? We got Lou,
Hi.
and we got Vivalopasco, aka Vivalospride, aka Vivi, aka Vuvuzela.
Suck my dick.
Yeah, man.
So
Alright.
then,
We got 16 teams. We got the sheet pulled up in front of me. And we're just gonna go in the draft order. So the first team on the chopping block is Turkey. How you guys feel about it?
I feel like he got the best mon in the game in for the format in Dragapult. You know, the carte blanche best mon. And then I think he has enough threats to go along with it. I mean, most drafts you'll see will obviously fall off in the end, but this one I feel like fell off a little harder than most. I don't particularly trust Lily to counter anything besides the Dracovish buddy, the Draco buddy. Yeah, sorry, Cradily, my bad.
Yeah.
And Electro Buzz. I mean, electric types are bad enough as is, so I understand not wanting to invest in one, but I mean, this dude's not going to do much of anything.
Yeah. There's a draggable Corviknight core to start off, which is like amazing, I think, and then like Gardevoir Crocodile, that's like also incredible. But as Lou said, there's a what Mesprit, Talonflame, Cradily, Electabuzz, rounding the squad out, and I feel like every comp is just gonna be like the first 5 mons, and then just him being like, what piece of shit do I want to put on next?
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I mean, I am terrified to prep against Dragapult every week. And, you know, Mega Guard, if you don't have a strict counter to it, which there aren't many of, is also pretty terrifying to prep against. And Corviknight, I mean, some of these sneak up on you, Mon, but you'll lose to it and you won't really realize until it's, you know, well, the game's over now and I didn't really get much accomplished.
It's
So
a good move on a pivot.
I'm pretty scared of, you know, his team, just because those mons are such pains to prep against. But at the, you know, it is kind of alleviated that you can mostly turn off your brain on the back half. I mean, Mesprit got like Nasty Plot now? I don't know. It got some other.
It got a few new tools. Yeah, I think one thing that's kind of underrated is he's got a lot of momentum. He's got U-turn on Talon, Corviknight, Mesprit, Dragapult. He's got a Volt Switcher. He's got Flip Turn on Milotic now.
Yeah.
So that is a little bit underrated. I mean, he's got some speed tiers. I think Mesprit's a little bit redundant with Gardevoir in a way. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. I see them both as Healing Wish users at the end of the day, but Gardevoir is obviously much more offensively inclined.
I think I just think he needed like one mon to better mesh with Corviknight as like a defensive backbone, and then he's pretty set.
Right, yeah. Nothing really covers for like Milotic's still weak to electric. Nothing in the way of like a serious fire resist. I mean, sure Milotic, but again, the electric weakness, like it's tricky. Go ahead, Lou.
I was gonna say, you know, I think his cores are solid enough in the fact that if you look at a lot of teams, you'll kind of be able to pick like, oh, this is definitely something scary to look out for them. Like either they're pretty weak to bird spam, or you know they don't really have a good fighting resist, or they don't have a strong dragon or reliable dragon switch in, or something like that. But I can't really think of anything that suits the bill for Turkey or Turkey, whatever it may be. So I think it's solid in that sense, where he's not gonna. It's gonna be hard for him to be blown out by one mon, and in that space, he should be able to work around with his really powerful threats and probably do well. That's my prediction.
I also
That, yeah.
I do agree, but the thing about that is once you can overwhelm Corviknight, I feel like you're going to be able to just like plow through his team if Corviknight's overwhelmed, because Corviknight's like the main like glue pivot, and there's like not much backing it up. Like Crook is like super, especially with like pinch berries being nerfed this gen, right? Like Crook is pretty easy to just like run through. It's like more of like an offensive ground type.
I 100% agree with that. I mean, like the first thing I check is bird spam, and then dragon spam, and then fighting spam. And once you lose Corviknight, your bird spam counter is Electabuzz, and then you realize, oh geez, that's a little bit scary. Once you lose Corviknight, your dragon spam counter is Gardevoir, and that's not it's still usable.
It's fine,
Definitely
yeah.
not ideal. You do not want to get
his dark resist is also Crocodile.
yeah. So that there are some issues. There are not too many fast. I mean, did anyone even get Weavile in the end? I think whoever had Weavile dropped it.
Yeah.
So yeah, we should say, I guess, preface now. This is in the middle of grace period. These teams might not even be final yet, but honestly, I think one of the better fast dark types is Crocodile right now. So
I agree.
in that sense, not too much to worry about. But things will change and may change.
Should we move on?
Yeah,
absolutely.
You can start roasting me now, bro. Hit me up.
So,
Bnast.
anyone who knows Brian knows that this is the most standard Brian team he could ever draft. I believe his first ever draft had ended up maybe with Rybombi.
No, not Rybombi.
You're right.
Yeah.
With Celebi, I believe, actually.
Yeah.
But it was definitely Manaphy, Mega Rumpt, and then I think Celebi.
Yeah.
So this is the tried and true. Lots of bulky pivots. I think what I've learned is I could say that I definitely don't like this draft, but I've said that about almost every single one of Ryan's drafts throughout the years, and fairly consistently he's placed well and done better than I have. So I've just come to accept the fact that we have very different play styles.
I'm humbled. I'm humbled, bro.
This definitely works. This definitely will work out for him. Is my prediction. Kind of like this Josh last season. It's like, I know this draft is terrible and I hate it.
That draft last season was poo poo. But
runner up.
but this draft I like more than last season for sure. I think there's some of the similar struggles. Not really though. Last season was like a really weird mix of really bulky Pokemon and then like a web setter and shit. But this season it's like a lot more offensive, which is good, obviously. I do think the speed tiers are really weird for something like Webs, which is why Rabombi's kind of weird. Mainly like Camera, Kaparuju, I know that's not how it's pronounced, are super fucking slow. Toxtricity also does not have a good moveset for Webs unless you want to go specs, but I don't think that's very good because all three of its stabs, yes, Boom Burst is basically stab, have immunities, so you can lose momentum really easily. I think Haunter is sick as fuck. I think Haunter's a pretty good addition there. Celebi, Manaphy also good. Torrenty is incredible. Conk is broken in RSUU, so surely it's good here. That's all about.
So I mean, I think obviously the main Webs benefiter is going to be Manaphy, but that's it's Webs Manaphy is pretty terrifying, and you never want to get caught with your pants down against that. I think this won't make sense to a lot of people who didn't play in the IPA or watch the last season of the IPA in any fashion, but last season, as Zen said, he had a lot of bulky mons and then some really fast mons and some webs. But his fast mons were all weak as fuck. Like it was like Excelgor and Frostlass and Whimsicott. So they'd be fast, but they wouldn't, like you're gonna have to run specs on all of them. But this one, fast mon is Torn, which is one of the most threatening mons in the game. So I think that definitely helps take pressure off his slower, bulkier mons. Now
I do really like. My bad to cut you off, but I do really like the Volturn like possibilities that you can come up with this.
I think it's good. I think we talked about this with Turkeys. It definitely starts to fall off at the end, and I think this is one of the drafts where I can't say that as confidently. I mean, Haunter. It's Haunter. It's not going to be the ideal, but it's honestly not that bad of a.
Hey, Haunter's damage output is kind of nice.
It does its job, and it does a surprising amount of damage. And it's one of the things where to prep against Electabuzz, you just have an electric resist or probably an immunity. And most teams, if you don't have an immunity, then you're basically, you're playing to lose anyway.
Yeah, but, you got bigger problems if you're losing to Electabuzz, bro.
Yeah.
I
think the draft is spaced out a lot more, where there's a lot more to consider from each individual mon that goes into prep, and I think that's one of the bigger differences that I see in a lot of drafts, is that a lot of drafts super front loaded. You're like, fuck, what do I mean, last season there was someone who had Excadrill like Sand, and then like Excadrill was super threatening, and he had really good support for it. But then everything else you could basically like ignore, and so it's basically you had 3 Excadrill counters at the end of the day, and then you ignore the rest of the draft. And I'm not sure how they did. I don't think they did particularly well. Maybe even left the season early, if I recall correctly. But yeah, so that's one thing I definitely noticed about this is that
Yeah, it's well rounded.
It's you can bring any number of mons. You're not gonna feel terrible tacking on whatever last mon, and it's gonna be annoying because you can't. I mean, as annoying as it is to say, oh, I gotta prep. I really have to focus for Mega Camera Up. That mon's terrible. You are gonna have to prep for Mega Camera Up so that you don't get fire blasted and then exploded on or something like that.
Thank you. Thank you for going easy on me, guys. I appreciate it. How about Rye?
So
So, fuck you.
okay.
So,
Would you like to go? Yeah, go.
yeah, I got it. So, Rye, first 4 Pokemon I think are really cool, actually. Like Slowbro, Glasgow is a pretty good, like, defensive pivot core. Cinderace is Cinderace. It's like the Volturn in the first 4 Pokemon. The Volturn's, like, crazy, I think. He also got a super late Terrakion, which is sick, honestly.
Nutty, bro. Nutty.
Like the first 4 Pokemon plus Terrakion, that's like solid as fuck, honestly. The big thing is there's no Steel type anywhere to be seen, and those 5, the first 4 with a Terrakion plus a Steel type, that sounds quite solid. Except for no, that sounds pretty good, but there's no Steel type, and that sucks ass.
Yeah. So I mean, I think he has some of the most threatening mons. Like if I would put it honestly, if I were to pick 5 mons, I'd say he has the 5 most threatening mons. Like if we ever did a 5 mon like team, we had 5 mons and that's all. I think I'd be most scared of his 5, even over Turkey, which I really like his 5. Just the first 4 plus Terrakion. But I also said that I do the checks for what's spammable against them. And their rock type is neutral to flying, and their electric type is neutral to flying. And they don't have a steel type. So I'm sure someone like Brian says, "Oh, I have a Tornadus," and Turkey is gonna say, "I have a Talonflame. I'm gonna choice band this Wing Beat, and specs this Hurricane, and I'm gonna not think twice."
Honestly,
I think
honestly, bro, specs both of those Hurricanes. Talonflame could rock that now.
yeah. I do think there are a fair amount of any flying type can be a threatening flying type, but there are a fair amount of threatening flying types nowadays.
Yeah.
Especially because everything under the sun gets Brave Bird now. But yeah, so there's that, and no steel type, and his fairy type costs 2 points, or have a bunch of Clefairy costs.
Yeah, he should have maybe should have splurged on the fairy, bro.
Yeah, like his off. I could easily see myself getting swept up, and just I can't break through the Gliscor, Slowbro, Rotom-Mow, and I get overwhelmed, and eventually Cinderace and Terrakion come and fuck me up at the end. I could easily see that happening. I could also see someone has a good stab. There's a dragon type that can apply pressure on Clefairy, or there's just a flying type that's faster and is able to damage the team. That I could see him easily getting swept up in situations like that.
Yeah, it is pretty unfortunate that the ideal glue Pokemon for the first 5 that we mentioned on that he currently has is Clefairy, because it's not gonna hold up. It's just gonna get knocked and then it's gonna die, and then it's just gonna be 5v6.
No cap, bro. Honestly, I think Rye is sick of steel types after just winning with Melmetal last season. That could be it, bro.
Oh, is that?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh my fucking god.
All I know is Rye does good with broken shit, and he got Cinderace, and that's probably gonna be
He's
broken.
got a lot of broken shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That is what I was trying to say is like when it's like, oh, I could see myself. Yeah, is if we know he's someone who's able to apply pressure and find good win cards and get a solid way to win the match, and he has a lot of good tools to do that. But the downside of that is his opponents will also have a lot of good tools to win the match against him. If anyone has a decently constructed team, they are sure to find a way to break through whatever defense he had. So I'm personally used to be a huge Drapion fan, but it lost Pursuit, which I thought was a fantastic part of it. Is it typically can't be hit by any psychic type coverage, psychic coverage of psychic types, I should say. So it was a pretty ideal Pursuit mon, as well as knockoff spam and toxic spikes and all of that. So I feel like its usability has really gone down, and I'm a little concerned what it's going to be now, just like taunts and toxic spikes, and maybe an SD set here or there. But I think his team's going to be really interesting. I'm looking forward to prepping against it and seeing it and all that.
Yeah, cheers to Rye, bro. Tell me about SlickPanther,
Yeah.
man. How you feel about that?
Well, I think Coco's broken. Um, I think Mega Cham is good. Um, yeah, I mean, I think this. I don't know. Tapu Koko's fast, and the rest of his team is so slow. And then, he's got so much immediate damage. He's got like Obstagoon. He's got
Got a
Nido
lot of
Queen.
breakers.
Yeah, he's got a ton of breakers, and it feels like he's really relying on Coco for the speed. It's not like he has webs or anything to kind of alleviate the speed issue. And a lot of his breakers can't even really be run Scarf. You
Right,
can't really run
he
Scarf
doesn't
Goon.
have that many good Scarfers. It's
You
weird.
can't run Scarf Goon. I mean, you can kind of run Scarf Nido Queen, but really you want
No,
you
don't
know
run that shit.
Life Orb,
Horrible.
and you obviously have to run Mega Stone, Mega Cham. So you're left to what Scarf,
Moltres.
Serena,
It's like the
Voltrace.
only two that are serviceable, really. But they have pivot moves, so they'll work. It's weird.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I think personally, if you have such a good breaking mon as Mega Cham, hey, you can kind of ease up on the breaking mons after that. I think Mega Cham, Goon, while both really good, really threatening mons, kind of are fairly redundant, and I think Coco's the best fast pivoter in the game. Maybe like Obstagoon's better, something like that. But it's really good at it. It's got Volt Turn. It's got Volt Switch and U Turn. Um, so I would have preferred just more support, just to get in breakers, or I even just like he's only got one really pivot mon, and that's, um, and that's Bronzong. Maybe a little bit of Serena. So it feels like he doesn't really have a way to pivot to get in safely his breakers, because he doesn't have pivots, and then he also doesn't have good mons to Volt Turn consistently, besides Coco, obviously, into his breakers. So I think that's a little bit of an issue with the team. But
So,
overall, it's very threatening.
I do really like. I think Goon and Mega Cham work well together. It's just the fact that because dark fighting core, whatever,
Yeah.
dark psychic fighting,
Offensive.
that's all cool. But like, he also got Needle Queen super early, which I hate because I really wanted Needle Queen. I don't. The thing is, like, I don't really know why there's a. I think a steal that works better as like a Glumon would have been better over Bronzong, because Bronzong is really thick and all that. It's cool, but most of the time I feel like he's going to be wanting to run Rocks Needle Queen, and Bronzong without Rocks is like, what are you doing with it? Like something like I mean, obviously this isn't like, this probably was not possible. Wouldn't have been possible, but like Corviknight would have been like way better. But just an example of like what I'm talking about. Some steel that like pivots better than Bronzong, kind of as Lewis said, would have been way better in that slot. Something to like glue the team to get together better. Also speed tiers, as Lewis said. The team is super flimsy. It's going to rely on trading like a lot, which is good with Neo Queen, but other than that, I don't know.
My big concern is like his setup sweepers are just like kind of bad, bro.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
Lycanroc.
Lycanroc, bulk up on Medi, or bulk up on Obstagoon, maybe Calm Mind Coco, Calm Mind Bronzong. That's when you start to get into weird territory. It's like,
You get that
yeah.
combine charge team, and then you're the Crocoon.
Well, I'm not gonna act like Calm Mind Bronzong didn't win me a championship once, but hey, I just think you need maybe a stronger setup sweeper Panther. That's all I'm saying.
Or a faster one.
Or a faster one. Yeah. Nothing that.
I think just
Yeah.
one extra fast mon would do wonders. So, like, I mean, Lycanroc is kind of fast, but it's like, I don't know. It's not the same. He didn't even get the fastest Lycanroc. He got the one with Tough Claws, so it's more of a breaker than, like, and now it ties with all 110s rather than outspeeding them, which is not ideal. But yeah, there's that.
For sure. Can we, you think we should move on to Wilder?
Absolutely.
All right.
So I'm going to hate Mega Gallade because it's broken.
It's very tough. Guys, Mega Gallade, you can't even intimidate anymore. What is going
I know.
on?
I was all for banning it this season, but it didn't even get a second look. I don't even was it even up for a ban. I don't even think it was, right?
I don't remember. I think
Yeah,
Scizor and Lopunny were the ones that actually got voted on.
Scissor got voted on. Okay, whatever. But yeah,
Yeah, you got the Scizor.
Yeah, and you got the
I know.
Scizor. We'll get to that though.
But yeah, so I hate that mon. He's got the sand core that's the story as old as time. At this point, I've seen it so often where I don't even really flinch when I see it anymore. Just 'cause
Yeah,
I'm so used to it. But I know like it's something to be scared of. But at the same time, I don't know. It's lost that factor for me. But that's not a slang of the team. It's like a personal thing. Um, I know. I just think it's solid and good, but it's another one that falls off super hard. I mean, like
I think he's okay. I think Helios is pretty good. Shandy is pretty decent.
Helios is good, Candy is good. So
I think
I guess I
Vileplume
would.
has potential to be good.
Yeah, I'm less worried about Vileplume. I mean, I understand Vaporeon's better now that it has Flip Turn, kind of. Even though it essentially will function the exact same as Baton Pass. But
I'm not a huge fan of Vaporeon.
yeah,
there.
I'm not a fan of the Mon either. I
Or
guess
just like there in general, because it's not like this team. Like I don't think like Wish support is gonna be like a huge deal for this team or some shit. It's not
Yeah.
not very fat. It's pretty offensive.
I agree. I mean,
And the bulkier mons like Vileplume can sustain for themselves because they have broken ass strength sap and
like,
roots and whatever.
what are you gonna wish into your Palpitoad? I mean,
Maybe Gallade. I don't know, bro.
Gallade actually is self-sustaining with Drain Punch. His Drain Punches just do that much.
That's true. That's true.
But
Looks
yeah,
good,
I mean,
generally looks good.
his rockers are his Sand Core and Palpitoad, which isn't the worst thing in the world. But if he ever wants to bring, his Sand Core without one of them having rocks, which is very foreseeable to happen. Although I guess Tyranitar doesn't even get Pursuit now, so it's not even, not too much else it can do. But,
the fact that he either runs Defog Togekiss or Spin Excadrill is kind of depressing. I mean, I guess you just run Spin Excadrill, but I don't know. Like, does in this gen can Spin Excadrill like be ran on like if you're trying to use it as like your
sweeper?
Yeah.
I don't see why not.
It's pretty good. It's better this gen than it was last gen.
Well, yeah, I know, but like sand boosts your speed anyways.
Well, the sand doesn't last forever, so it's actually like quite serviceable, I think.
As a Mr. Rhyme aficionado, I can say that rapid spin. If you think it's just a spinning mon and you're not threatened about it, I mean it does boost. It's like
oh yeah, no, of course that's not what's going on. It's just like if you're basically forced to run spin on Excadrill every game unless you want to run Defog Togekiss, which I think is pretty shitty hazard removal.
Yeah, I mean he's got threats. He's got some really serious threats. I'm always gonna be scared of getting swept by Mega Gallade and Excadrill.
I think
not
it's
actually
good.
Yeah, I think it's good. I think as an offense team, which I'm less aware. I guess how do I say this? I'm less comfortable with. I don't know. I find them harder to rate because they're so hit or miss. If he's able to get it to work and he's able to get a good feel of the team, I think he does have a fair amount of threats. But also, I could see every team he runs up against has a good way to beat Gallade and Excadrill, and then if he does bring Defog Toge each week, then I'm like, okay, you're out of ways to win. What are you gonna do? Dragon Dance on your Tyranitar? That shit sucks.
I'm open to the idea that like, Gallade and Excadrill have similar checks, and maybe they'll wear down each other's checks for each other, and then I can win that way with one or the other. So I think that's like a good strategy. I think it's cool.
Yeah, I think if I see this team, I'm throwing like 40. I'm throwing 50% of my prep to the first two mons. Realistically speaking, I think that's what I'm doing most of the time. 10%.
Overall, I like it. It's just not a big fan of Vaporeon there, but otherwise I like it a lot.
Yeah, it's a good
pretty
team.
Solid BO.
Should we any last thoughts on Wilder, or should we move to Tristan?
Let's move to Tristan. I know. I hope Palpitoad comes a lot.
Me too, bro.
It would suck for him if Palpitoad comes a lot because it's just it's like it's even kind of redundant with a lot of stuff that he wants to do.
Yeah, I
But
don't.
I hope he brings Rain Palpatine one of these weeks.
Oh
People
hell
prefer for sand.
yes.
People prefer for sand, but it's actually a Rain team. That'd be sick. Yeah. Okay, Tristan.
Look at that Dragonsteel Fairy core, bro. Oh,
Yeah, you can't.
Yeah,
Doesn't
what
get
the
much better than that.
oh.
Um, no fire type to be seen, but fire types are terrible anyways.
Hard to get a good fire type. Big agree.
Oh,
Yeah.
is it only Rocker Pilot Line?
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up, but you beat me to it. Like,
Okay,
wow,
wow,
dude.
that's something else. I don't know how I feel about that one. Maybe I mean honestly, the team looks fucking great. Aside from only Rocker Pilot Line, similar to like Michael's, but we'll get to that later. Uh, only Rocker Pilot Line's pretty funny. If he invested on like I don't know, like Crocodile was Rapirier a thing? Maybe like Nido King, Nido Queen, Rapirier.
Yeah,
Any of those.
Nido King never got drafted. That would have been a good option, especially
Or
since.
no. Nido King's on Hunter's team.
Oh, right.
Not
Okay.
Rockers, I don't know. But yeah, like any of those like offensive rockers, it would have been pretty nice. But I guess he just yeah, I guess he was like, nah, bro, I'm gonna scale. Get Pile Swine last. Bring it on every team.
I mean, everyone I've ever known who's ever drafted Pilot Swine has brought it almost to every game. It's just one of those mons where
It's
you're like, oh shit.
it's an
Okay, I'll bring the roster.
it's definitely an IPA favorite.
IPA, I see, the whole shebang.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, my analysis of the draft is it's good mons. I mean, all the mons are really, really good. I don't think any of them are bad in the format. I don't think it's one of the drafts that really falls off. I mean, maybe the fact that he got the two spinners, which don't feel too exciting, but honestly, they're not even bad mons.
Yeah, I think Tentacle's typing is.
I really like Tentacle. Tentacle is I really like it. I think it's got stuff. I don't know what it got this gen, but
the big issue with Tentacle is that its typing is like more so geared towards checking like fighting types and like physical, like a lot of them like physical shit you want to check, and his defense stat is paper. So and that's like the big thing with Tentacle, and that's why like a lot of people say he sucks ass. But like his typing is very good and he spins, so it's good like low compression.
And Tristan's got Latios, Sylveon, Victor Wolf, and Delmy. So obviously he's got fighting resist for days.
Yeah, and all of them remove hazards, bro. Here's my thing. I predict he's gonna have some really long games because he's always gonna have hazard control. It's super splashable.
I don't
And
think Tristan's gonna play it that way. I think he's gonna go full offense.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty. Yeah, I think most of the builds he will have will be like Power Swine, Tentacruel, Sylveon, 3 offensive mons.
yeah, and the games are just gonna be long because the Sylveon's probably gonna be throwing wishes. Hazards are rarely gonna be up. Like I don't know, dude. It's
Well, it
sus.
depends. Tentacruel is like a mediocre like hazard control in terms of like the shit it spins on.
Mm.
But it's a good like blanket to a lot of different things. Blanket check.
I think it's just one of the most solid drafts. Like
It's pretty good. Yeah.
There's nothing spammable against it really. I was thinking, I don't know, maybe fire, but no, he's got some good fire resists in there. Yeah, I mean, it's full of good mons. They don't have any inherent counter synergy. He's got, for the most part, everything has at least a check. I just wouldn't be too worried if I were him. I think he'll have a good shot any given matchup. He has the tools to do pretty much whatever.
Absolutely. Should we talk about ShyGuy?
Sure.
Bro, ShyGuy, this might be one of the fastest teams when you think about it. Between Sun, Venusaur, Raichu, Crobat, Greninja, like, I kind of rock with it, no lie. But maybe you guys have a different perspective.
I kind of have for some reason, I mean, I think it's just something, like, the weirdest mental block I have, is whenever I see, like, the fat pink mon, like, my brain just, like, turns off, and for some reason I can't get a like, I know Mew and Peppermint, 2 of the best mons in the format. And, I like Crobat, and I guess, I think I'm a little more skeptical about Torrent Gren than most people, but that's probably just me. I think Venu is a fun mon, especially under Sun. It's really threatening. But I think it's only under Sun if he brings Torkoal, which sucks, because that mon is, I've been told it has better stuff this gen. but dedicating a full mon to making your Venusaur better and only really your Venusaur better, I'm a little skeptical about. But I think overall, I mean, like, he's got Mew and Clefable. They can do 1,000 different things each week. It's like, well, something will happen. I'm sure he'll be able to find a way. I mean, Mew is literally just like
Swiss
do whatever you
Swiss
want
Army
with Mew.
knife.
Yeah,
Swiss
it's
Army
it's hard to
knife.
even really examine weaknesses or strengths when there's Mew, which is like can take any role. And so yeah, he's very fast. He's got good U-turn. He's got Volt Switch. I mean, he's got Mega Chomp, which is a really scary offensive mod, believe it or not. Slow as fuck. Basically, a worse Mega Metacham by a large margin worse, but you know, similar
I think
stuff.
I think he can make some pretty nasty like spike teams with this if he wants to go some like Wincon Mew, like some setup Mew with like Spike Spren. Fucking Wishport is the most disgusting thing to ever exist in competitive Pokemon. If he wants to go like Wincon, like if he wants to go like Sun with like some whatever Mew said, Wishport, like Spike Spren or some shit, it'd be pretty cool, I think. And yeah, his team is very fast. Oh yeah, Steelix is a very unique typing. I do like Steelix, but there is like some things that Steelix is kind of not the best at, and that like other Steels are good at. Shit like checking like, or it doesn't really matter as much here, but checking like grasses and shit like that because he's Crobat anyway, so it doesn't matter. But Steelix is I don't know, not a huge fan on this personally, because especially because of how out of place it feels. Everything else is pretty offensive. He already has a ground type. Um, why not just go for a different steel? IMO.
Yeah. So here's two things I'm gonna say. So first of all, this is kind of closer to what I'd imagine for like what I wanted SlickPanther's team to end up looking like. A lot faster, a lot more pivoting, and then you have some strong breakers and just some more overall general utility mons. Um, but I also think that a lot of his like key resistances, because he's got Psychic and Fairy as his really two staple mons that he can feel comfortable switching into and being able to do stuff. All of his main resistances are on pretty paper thin mons. Like his water resist is Greninja and Venusaur, and his fire resist I guess is Mega Chomp, but it's also Torkoal and like Greninja and stuff like that. Where I could see a similar circumstance to Rai, where someone just finds out that they're kind of able to spam one mon stab against it, and just kind of break through the team that way.
Interesting. I'm really happy with Venusaur. Of all the chlorophyll sweepers you could have gotten, ShyGuy, I think you picked the right one. So shout out to that. I'm cheering for Venusaur, that's for sure. Any closing thoughts on ShyGuy?
Venusaur was the first team I ever drafted was a Zard Y Sun team of
Mm.
sorts, and I had Venusaur as my chlorophyll sweeper, so it does have a small special place in my heart.
Oh, I had
But
Venusaur last season. I used it as defensive Pokemon a lot though.
yeah, I think on this team,
Could
I think
probably
it's going to be a defensive mod the majority of the time, which is why I'm not too buying into it because obviously I guess you always have to consider Torkoal plus it. But I mean, I don't see him wanting to run Torkoal the majority of the time. I mean, and I think he's going to need to bring defensive Venu a fair amount because, like I said, otherwise his water resists to Greninja. So I think that there is a possibility that it's not. It won't usually be a chlorophyll mod. It'll usually just be a Venusaur, which is obviously not the ideal thing, but it's not terrible either.
Sure.
yeah. I think draft's good.
Let's talk about Michael.
Sure, dude. How about you start us off with this one because you said you like this one.
This is definitely in my top three favorites. It's up there with ShyGuy and Josh, but we'll get to those. We already talked about ShyGuy. I like Michaels. I think he's got great pivoting options. You got Baton Pass on the Mawile and the Umbreon. You got Volt Switch on the Rotom. U-turn on the Infernape. U-turn on the fucking Staraptor. Really think Staraptor has more options now with heavy duty boots. I think finally we will see defensive Staraptor Ascendant. It is going to be the time for the feather dancing and the roosting and the defogging and the U-turning. It is here, ladies and gentlemen. I think Morgrim is like a cool meme, and I actually think he sniped somebody on it, which is fucking hilarious. Um, Obviously, I think the biggest weak point is the Stealth Rockers. You got Mawile, you got Infernape, and you got Claydol. Claydol is obviously like not something you want to be bringing every week. I feel like it's kind of fragile. And then Mawile, it's like dedicating a slot to Stealth Rocks is tough. Infernape is maybe the most consistent rocker on his team, which is tough. It's tough to say that.
Yeah, you're gonna want to use Infernape for other things most of the
Yeah.
time. And one thing about Claydol is Claydol's a piece of shit Pokemon. Even though I love Claydol, I remember in UUPL 2 years ago, I brought it because I was expecting my opponent to bring Rockstrachion. They didn't, but that's besides the point. On paper, obviously, it should like check Rockstrachion, right? In reality, it like barely did that. If you look at the calcs, it's pretty fucked up. This thing kind of sucks ass, like in practice a lot of the time. Especially with how much it's usually passed to do. Because like this guy's gonna need to bring it every week that the opponent has like an electric type of some sort.
That's what I was about to say.
That's pretty unfortunate.
I would consider Claydol like a Gloomon for this team, and that sucks. You don't want Claydol to ever be in that situation.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, unless he wants to have Infernape or Mawile run rocks, then Claydol's the rocker. Unless he wants, like, I guess Rotom can defog, Latias. Staraptor, I'm going to assume, can defog.
It can. It could do it.
Yeah.
It could.
None of those are ideal, But I guess, I don't know, maybe he doesn't have big plans for Rotom.
I do sympathize with his Staraptor issue because I remember last season I had Braviary, and I had to use like defensive Braviary like with defog a lot of the time, and I was like, damn, this sucks ass. But I mean, at least Staraptor has Intimidate, I guess, but it's still probably going to get 2-KO'd by like every fighting breaker. Being a flying type that doesn't resist fighting is pretty unfortunate.
Yeah. And, I think his team's slow. I think his team's pretty darn slow.
It is. I agree.
And so, we're talking about
That's as much as Latias.
Unless he wants to bring Claydol every week, then his other mons will have to take up a little bit more defensive roles. And if they're more defensive roles, they can't be Scarfers. Like I said, maybe he doesn't have big plans for Rotom, but honestly, like Rotom, Infernape, and Staraptor are like, the best Scarfers you can bring. Maybe a little bit of Roserade, but like, and if he doesn't bring a Scarfer, I mean, I think almost every team has a faster mon than this, a faster good mon than this at the very least. I mean, he won't have a good way to revenge kill Mega Lop or Mega Gallade or stuff like that. And maybe it's like, yeah, I just think he's gonna have to run a Scarf every week. His team's too slow, and then if he's running Scarfers, then his other mons can't take on the roles that they kind of need to, and then he's gonna have to bring Claydol, and that sucks because Claydol sucks.
But, yeah, I do think it's like running a Scarf every week is whatever. I think that speed control is necessary for teams most of the time, so I think running a Scarf every week is fine. It's just the fact that the ones that he's gonna be running Scarf who would want to do other shit most of the time. Like I know like Hydreigon was my second pick that I drafted, and like if my team was slow enough to the point where I just needed to run Scarf and Hydreigon every week, I would just suck complete ass because obviously I wanted to do other shit.
No fun, nasty plot sets.
Right.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. We talked about like Infernape's his most reliable rocker, but it's also his most reliable Scarfer. Rotom's his most reliable defogger, but it's also one of his top Scarfers. So I don't know. I see some issues there, but I've been kind of negative of this. But I mean, Mega Mawile's the fucking abomination of a mon. I think his first four are really solid, really scary. I think his team is going to be threatening. I was just kind of nitpicking the speed issue and how I think his team's going to be. It's going to be a little bit of pain to build when you know that he has to throw a Scarf on something each week, and it's going to be annoying for him. That's my. I can
totally imagine like some rocks teleport Claydol with a little pink guy for screens. And
Morgrim.
Mawile, Rotom, Infernape, Latias is like some jank screens team, and that would probably win a game or two.
Personally, I think Umbreon, is pretty. I don't know what it will ever do.
I have no idea what Umbreon's there yet.
Yeah, it's like it's gonna
more
take
offensive
special hits,
archetype or something.
Yeah, but that's neither here nor there. Okay.
I also think this is just my last note is his Firewater Grass and Dragonsteel Fairy cores. That shit brightens my day, bro. Like he did good. He did good as far as that
Got
goes.
out of the way early.
Yeah.
I mean, I think having the Steel Fairy be combined, I'm always a little bit, hesitant on stuff like that when you have two parts of the core combined. But like, I don't know. It's not going to be at the end of the world. I think he has a very good core.
Morgrim's a fairy.
Oh, you're right. Oh, you're right. Well, in that case, his Dragonsteel Fairy is terrible.
Damn. You hate to see it.
Fucking Morgrim in it.
We could talk about someone who didn't even bother to compete their Dragonsteel Fairy core, bro, and he goes by the name of Wordlife. The only man in the league with 10 picks? Unbelievable.
No dragon.
Yeah, one of them's a Regigigas. That shit's crazy.
Oof,
And
Maron.
So I mean, I like his first 6 mons are all really good mons. I mean, this is like reeks of OU, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Heatran's like when I see Heatran, the first thing I think of is OU, just because it's always there and it's always staple. And I guess Grimmsnarl's the standout because he wasn't around for a while before this. These just all remind me of OU, besides Slowking. But there's that. What we talked about a little bit, or that we kind of identified just on first glance is his ground resist is a thwacky, and that's terrible. That's tragic. You don't want that to happen to anyone, especially when you have your 2 best mons arguably are weak to ground. In fact, very weak to ground.
Yeah.
So like that's a pretty notable weakness. Is if you are relying on a thwacky and I guess an Avalog for your ground resist, that's sucky. Some of there's the special ground types like Lando Eye, Mega Camel. Those things are actually just going to eat him up. I don't know what he will do against things like that. Just try to outspeed and kill it. But
I'm really not a fan of this like ham-fisted like fat as fuck core between Runerigus and the coffee table. I feel like there was like way better ways you can go about this. Like I'm sure there was, I don't know, like I don't have anything specific in mind, but I'm sure there was like better removal options than Avalug. I'm sure there was, I'm sure there are other rock types. You don't really need the fighting resist on Runerigus that much because you have Slowking, and I'm sure you can make up for it with like one or 2 slots doing differently. But yeah, because especially with how offensive the first 4 mons are and Grimmsnarl too, these 2 together seem really weird.
Yeah, I mean that is something to notice. It is a little weird to just see like he has like a decent like kind of balanced to bulky offense going at the beginning.
Yeah, and
his last 4 mons he just slams full like I mean Thwacky I guess is technically an offense mon, but and I do think Thwacky is nothing to sneeze at, but I don't think it's like that threatening. But like the last 3 mons it just slammed like potatoes that just sit in front of you, and yeah, they sponge up damage.
And they don't even really like help each other that much. It's just kind of like they're just 2 fat things that are passive.
Yeah, minimal synergy at the end. It's pretty strong at the beginning though. I feel like.
Yeah, I agree.
It's just lots of overlapping typings. Like he's got 2 fairies, 2 steels, 2 psychics. It's like
I'd imagine Scizor, Diancie, Alakazam probably overwhelms the shit out of like something like I don't know, like Michael's team, whereas his steel is only Mega Mawile, and shit like that.
It's a great offense score. Go ahead, Lou.
That's actually right. I think he's gonna absolutely pick on everyone who doesn't have steel type.
Yeah.
I mean, or even the ones that do, it just don't have like
reliable stuff.
Yeah.
Super sturdy. Just has like self-sustain.
I'm pretty sure Mega Diancie Heatran was like a core for a little bit for some reason, back in like Gen 6. Unless I'm like crazy.
Heatran was a really good. It was a good like Mega Scizor check in OU.
Yeah, it's check steals.
But
hate steals.
Like I like the beginning of it. I really like Grimmsnarl. I think also Grimmsnarl with his team is pretty good. His only real scary setup sweeper is like Zam or Scizor.
Or Rock Polish.
Yeah. or rock polish. But I mean, that thing's already fast enough where it's scary. But yeah, sure, rock polish also. But either way, I don't think screens are as impactful as on other teams. But I do still like Grimmsnarl. I think it's just a really good mod, and spamming T-Waves really opens things up for Mega Diancie and things like Scizor to come in at the end. Um, so I think it's. I mean, it's one. It's like Tristan, where he has a lot of really. I really like all of the mons on his team. Maybe besides at the end, it kind of falls off. But I really like his mons. I think they're good, really good in counter team format. But I do think they are very synergistic, and there's a lot of type overlap. And then once you get to the mons that you kind of need glue mon, where you'd expect some glue mons to be, and you find things like Runegregas and Avalog and Regigigas, you're like, oh, there's not much on the back half here to help hold the rest of it together.
I'm excited for Regigigas to finally do something.
Yeah, what did we get this gen?
Protect and rest. Those are the important ones.
Okay,
Yeah.
good on him.
Let's move on to this fucking idiots.
Yeah, Lou, you ready to get bullied?
I will let you fire away.
Absolutely. You want to start, Zen?
Well, I've already told you that I'm not a fan of the Barraskewda pick. I'm a huge fan of Mega Scizor Zapdos, like starting for literally when you first told me that, I was like, damn, I wish I thought of that myself. I wish I was like planning to do that, but I wasn't. But also one thing I noticed like just now is that you have your whole team is physical attackers except for Dragalge and Zapdos, I guess, but that's not really like a special threat most of the time. I mean, maybe it could be, I don't know. But
got Hurricane this gen, so yeah.
But yeah, what I personally would have done, I would have gotten some other water type, and I would have got if you want to speed tier that bad, you could have gotten like Noivern later on. Noivern didn't even get drafted, or he did, but I think he got dropped.
He got dropped.
He got drafted super late too.
Yeah.
And this Dragalge is cool, I guess. I don't really know.
I like Dragalge. I like it.
Dragon type, I think. Your water being Barraskewda, yeah, I'm just not a fan of Barraskewda, honestly. Also, I do really like Marowak. I think that's pretty cool. As like the Pokemon in general. But like I said, you have all physical attackers except for Dragalge / Zapdos, which might be kind of weird. I do think there's a lot of potential for like Volturn to just like run through. Your team is very offensive, and like Volturn in general, I think would be very good if you just spam the fuck out of it all season. Like, what are they gonna do really?
Yeah.
You have some Grave Breakers and shit too.
Yeah, the Volterm element is huge. I mean, U-turn Scizor, Volt Switch Zapdos, Flip Turn on 2 Pokemon, U-turn Mienshao. I like your last 2 picks. It's like, you were like, okay, I don't have any Stealth Rockers yet, but the 2 you got were like, yeah, both of them generally have room on their sets for Stealth Rock. Like, so very, very easy to tech that. Scizor, the Red Menace, the thing's gonna fucking eat this season, bro.
Yeah, I was gonna.
I mean, that's
every single week.
huge, bro. Good priority. Bullet Punch, Fake Out, Aqua Jet on the Barraskewda. I think that's pretty serviceable. Ice Shard Dawn fan, lest we forget. And that sort of helps make up for the
Not the
lacking
best
speed tier.
option.
Yeah.
Not the best speed tier except for Barraskewda. Barraskewda is also like limited to like choice sets, and like that's it, or like all like life four attacks or whatever.
I respect the team, bro, and I love the Dragalge pick. So I'm hyped for Dragalge to do something. That's for damn sure.
I will say I haven't actually used Dragalge in counter team before, but it's one of the ones I think I'm most excited for on the team. Besides maybe Zapdos, but like, yeah. I mean, what I was thinking, I guess, it doesn't really matter because we'll see how it works. But I was thinking I do want as many Volt Turners and flip turners as possible.
Yeah.
And then I'd have things like Mienshao, Dragalge, and like
Bulu.
And then Breaker in those, and try to wreak some havoc. But I agree with Zen, and I identified toward the end of the draft that I really I don't want to fucking bring Dragalge every week, and if I ever want to bring like a bulky Zapdos, which I will want to bring a lot,
Yeah,
then I barely have. Yeah, because it's my main flying resist. In fact,
Yeah,
I
it's
think
also like it's gonna be like the glue for like your team a lot of the time.
it's absolutely. I think Zapdos is for sure the most important mon on my team by a large margin, which is why it sucks that it shares a role with Dragalge for my only real special threat. Um, and I did kind of draft Zapdos because I wanted to use it as a special threat, so I kind of failed the rest of the draft for having it do so many other roles. Um, so I hope that's my number one hope for free agency is I hope I can make it 3 weeks and then get another good special mon. But I was trying. The reason I went with Barrascuda is I was trying to think. Flip turn with Zapdos seemed pretty fucking good. Like I don't know what they would go into in a Barrascuda that I couldn't then flip turn out in my Zapdos and have an amazing like setup.
Yeah, a chance to click Hurricane.
Like if that's what was in my head was I would be able to bring offensive Zapdos. I'd flip turn, grass type, water type, bulky mon, whatever comes in, and then I can flying spam from there, or electric spam, or whatever it may be. So that was kind of the hope there, but yeah, I agree. Realistically speaking, that's a little bit greedy, and just getting a good special water probably would have been better. But
Hey.
I think it's generally pretty good. Just like the only thing I would say is like one more like general utility pivot that's not necessarily like some offensive mon, like just like another mon similar to Zapdos that can form like a pivot core with Zapdos.
yeah,
I think would have like or like another special attacking mon, of course, but that's besides the point. But would make the team like really threatening.
yeah, I agree with that. It definitely has room to grow, but I mean, I think most teams in this will because it was so point stringent. But I think mine definitely has notable room to grow, where it has some major flaws right now. But I'm excited. I think it's got some good potential. I
You
can't wait to get it out there.
you ready to go in on Zen and Lewis?
I actually haven't spent too much time. Oh, so Zen and I mean, I guess we'll talk about it now. Is I actually
Yeah.
drafted a rain team, but forgot a rain set. I got Zapdos, Scissor, Bulu, and
Barraskewda. Yep.
which is like a perfect rain team. But no, but then I saw Zenon, and Zenon actually just hard committed to getting a rain team without a center.
Yeah.
He's got Pharaoh. He's got Mega Pert. I think this is the first time in the last 3 years I've seen Mega Pert without rain. Not that it's bad. I think I'm kind of surprised that I don't see it without rain more. But I think this is the first time I legitimately have. And then he's got Torn and what is it? Or Araquanid. So yeah, but I like all the mons on his team. I think Raboot is actually going to be a pain in the ass to prep against. It's just fast enough to be annoying, and it's just hard enough where you don't want to. And there's the embarrassment factor where if you lose to a Raboot, then you're like, oh fuck, I lost to a Raboot. Everyone's gonna mention this for 2 years.
Remember that time I beat you with fucking Raboot?
Yeah.
Well, Hunter's next, so we'll get to that. But Hunter's first battle ever,
Oh,
he
dude,
lost.
I'm 100% beating Hunter with Raboot. Oh, no, he's got a Colossal. Never mind.
He got 4-0'd by a Frogadier or something like that. And and we obviously we haven't let him live that down since, and it's been 4 years, something like that. So you don't want that to happen to you. But yeah, I think Aegislash is going to be a pain. It's good. It's just Aegislash I think is actually a good glue mon. I think all your mons are actually pretty darn good glue mons, which is I don't know. I just like the team. I think overall it's a good mixture of bulk and offense. I think it's a lot less redundant than his last draft was, and so I really like it. I think it's solid.
Yeah, bro, that shit is mad cool. Where you got the Spectre of Rain is there, so it's you don't know whether to prep for it or not, but at the end of the day, you kind of have to, just because Mega Pert can set its own shit, and then Tornadus is like a pseudo setter. Pert, you're gonna get a lot of mileage out of him. I feel like now that HP Grass is out of the picture,
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
huge, bro. So even if it's not Rain, he's gonna be a reliable Fatmon, either just with Stealth Rock's 3 attacks, or I don't know, Rest Talk or something. I know that was popular in Gen 6 UU back in the day, so I know how you're rocking with that.
Yeah, the main thing I went So I really wanted Nidoqueen in that fourth slot, but some asshole got him in the fucking round 3. I'm like, okay, whatever, I guess. So I really wanted an offensive rocker that could work on like just that was like flexible. That could work on like both like spikes teams and like webs teams, and like nothing other than Nidoqueen really fit the bill or Megapert. And Megapert was just like the next best option. I just didn't really want to commit to Megapert because, like without rain, like how worth really is it? It's also my mega slot, and I could do so much other shit with my mega slot if I wanted to. But I was like, all right, whatever. I'm just gonna do Megapert. So I didn't even get it with rain in mind. But once I got Megapert, I was like, like why the fuck not? Like why would I not get rain if I have Megapert? So I was gonna get Pelipper. But then I realized my speed tiers. I do think my speed tiers could be a lot better. I do have a Hydreigon and Torrentine. Hydreigon will probably end up being Scarf a lot of the time. I think Scarf, Rotom Frost is fine. And then like the threat of Rain Purr, I guess. Or like, I don't know, fucking Reboot. But so yeah, the main thing for me is the speed tiers. And but yeah, but once I saw the speed tiers, I was like, alright, fuck Pelipper, I'll just get fucking Torn. And if I really want to run Rain, I could do it with Torn. And Torn is better like on webs and shit too, because I have Defiant and boots, and Torn's very versatile offensively, and I think it'll just like glue the team better than Pelipper would.
I was gonna say, bro, like you got really good hazards. I think you have every hazard in the game.
Yeah, I do.
Which is huge.
What are T-Spikes?
Wheezing.
Wheezing, you're right.
I got Wheezing because its typing is so unique, and I wanted a Fairy type, and I also needed I wanted hazard removal. At the time, I didn't yet have Torn, so I wanted hazard removal like if I really needed it, if I really wasn't going like super offensive and like planned on like all ending on the hazard war. If I was just going like a more like bulky offense or like balanced build, Defog Wheezing could get a lot of mileage, especially since its typing is so unique and so secondary, like Fairy Resist, because both H Slash and Pharaoh are not the best like tanking like special fairy hits and shit like that.
Yes. So my big criticism would be I do like all the mons. The speed tier is a fairly serious issue, especially because a lot of people's biggest threats are their fast mons. So Hydreigon, like we said earlier, I mean Hydreigon's a mon that's really good because there's so much you can do with it, and it really doesn't want to. It is a good Scarfer, and that's kind of what makes it a good mon. But it's not. You want to have the freedom to do whatever you can with it. I mean, to run a bulky set and use it as a pivot. And I mean, yeah, Rotom Frost has really good stab. Obviously, I mean, Bolt Beam, except for one of those beams is Blizzard, but Bolt Beam's good, and so obviously it's a good Scarfer. But then you're not running heavy duty boots, and you're stuck with the Rotom Frost. So yeah,
I was very
think
happy.
that is going to be an issue.
I was very happy to see Rotom Frost like as a 3 cost because I think it's pretty, like you just said, it's stab, it's fucking Bolt Beam stab, like that shit's threatening as fuck regardless.
Yeah. I've gotten it actually a couple times, and I think it is a good mod. I think 3 is a little undercosted, but
yeah, I heavily agree.
It does have the issue where it's stab. It's Blizzard. It's you're gonna say, fuck, am I really gonna have to rely on hitting a fucking Blizzard, which is gonna feel terrible. And also, it's just a little bit too slow if you don't to really take advantage of its stab, unless you run Scarf. And if you run Scarf, then
well, the big idea with Rotom Frost there was like, I remember last season I was having a lot of trouble getting like 5 mons plus Araquanid that just made like a solid 6 with like a solid 6 on a webs team. And I think I can't remember if I had Rotom Frost last year, but regardless, I don't think I did. But Rotom Frost with now that gets stats a lot is quite good on like hazard teams and stuff.
Yeah.
So I really liked it. And if I needed to, it could just be like a bulky pivot with low awareness and boots and defog.
Can we hop on over to? I'm sorry to say this, Hunter. Maybe my least favorite draft out of everything. But I'll let my boys riff on it first, real quick.
No, it seems like you've got some opinions.
You think so?
I don't want to railroad you,
Hunter, my man. How do you say, fuck it. I don't want a fairy type. I don't want a steel type. I just want to lose to every single good dragon that got picked. And there are a lot of them that got picked. Hydra, Dragalge, both of the Lottie twins, Dragapult, even Haxorus on the back end, bro. Like, you're in trouble, man. You gotta get something for that. Like, what are you gonna do?
You need a steel type
You go
or a
in,
fairy type.
go into your either go like you can't just go into your AV Reuniclus on everything, bro. Like,
Wait. Was Klefki drafted?
I don't think so.
Doubt so.
Okay, Hunter, my boy. If you don't like get rid of this, get rid of something for Klefki like right now, you're gonna have some issues, my friend.
Yeah, man.
So
That's a big hole that needs to be patched for sure.
Because Spikes is really good on that team too. Spikes is Zora, Nidoking.
He has Colossal get spikes for what it's worth.
Fuck Colossal.
Fuck Colossal. Go ahead, Lou.
Colossal.
So I think I'm going to be a little less critical. I mean, I think the draft has some obvious problems. I personally think Zora is bad, but I know, you know.
I'm not a big fan of Zora either. I think Zora is a bit of a stretch in the round one pick, but that's just
I think Urshifu is not bad, but I don't know. I definitely don't think it can carry a team.
It's definitely uncharted territory. So
he has no idea what to
I
do.
don't want to comment on it just yet.
But at the beginning, it seems like he's getting like a kind of what a couple people, including myself, did, where it's kind of like a fast, strong offense with a lot of volt turn. You know, that's a pretty good volt turn core right off the bat. I mean, he's got a really fast and really powerful mon, both with volt switch, both with U-turn. And then, like, you could tell this is someone who's a stall player at heart and just couldn't break the habit and just had to get a regen core right next, and then had to get the Mandibuzz. And then by the end of the draft, by the time you get to Colossal, you kind of forgot that there was ever any offense really being planned here, because you're stuck with Mandibuzz and yeah, and then I guess you get Mega Pidgeot at the end for another fast threat with U-turn, and it feels like, man, I just wish he flushed that out just a little bit more, because I mean the rest of the team, like he used so much to get these fast offensive pivot mons that you can't form a good defensive backbone if you have so much of your team dedicated to offense like that.
You can, but it has to be looser. Like it has to be like they have to be able to pivot. Like I think Mandibuzz is okay because it can pivot. It can be like a general like blanket check. You're not just like spamming like a bunch of like 6 Batmons to be able to check as many things as possible. It's more about like being able to take a hit or two, and like pressure offensively. So I think Mandibuzz is okay, but on this, not really, because you're gonna be with 2 flying types probably most time. Like I think like Urshifu, Zera, Nidoking, Pidgeot, that's like a pretty good 4-man.
That's good.
Squad.
Yeah,
Like,
it's good offense, totally.
Maybe, and if you throw a Klefki on there, I think that's a pretty good Spikes team. But then you just, I don't know, maybe like Starmie. Starmie's still up. Get the Starmie, bro. Get Starmie.
Like, it's just if you're, you know, because he has so much good offense mons that I can understand wanting to get the defensive backbone in there. It's not, in fact, a bad instinct to have. But then, like, if the mons are then, you know, monotype, like Reuniclus and Tangrowth, he's just not going to have enough resistance.
Yeah.
And in the end of the day, he doesn't have enough resistances. I mean, like,
regen mons can work on offenses, but I don't see either of those really being super. I don't know, super helpful to what you have. Maybe Tangrowth will be to Zora. Maybe some bulky ground will pop in on Zora, and you'll be like, I have a Tangrowth beach. But I don't know.
I think if I had to say something positive about Hunter's team, I think Urshifu is really well supported between having Future Sight on Reuniclus. Fighting types plus Future Sight is like, I mean, that's just a phenomenal strategy. Zeraora covers really well for Urshifu's weaknesses to electric and flying. Like, so there's good synergy there. So I think Urshifu is well supported, and I think it could do a lot of work. It's untested, it's uncharted territory, but I'm hyped for it. Totally.
I do like the Mega Pidgeot pick at the end, to be honest.
So, I mean, maybe this is just because I'm stuck a little bit on Galar Deck's drafts here. But, I mean, I think the majority of the drafts are pretty good. I remember seeing a lot more drafts last time.
Yeah, I agree.
Were just atrocious, and I was like,
I heavily agree.
But you know, I mean, I'm there hasn't been called the worst draft because I don't honestly think it's that bad. I think there are definitely a couple good ways that he can win games pretty consistently. And I think there's a lot of things to be scared about here. I think overall he's missing some pivotal things, but I don't want to write it off as just bad. But yeah, I don't know. All the other drafts are really good and for the most part pretty complete. So it's just yeah,
Should
a
we
little bit bad in comparison. Move to Tort.
move
Yeah.
to Tort? Yeah, word. All right. Um, I actually don't know what to say about this team.
I mean, so this feels like a draft I have used before. I've said this like just when thinking about it, but like I mean, all these Pokemon feel so familiar to me, and I know they're all very good. I mean, I'm a bigger Mega Aggron fan than most. I understand that. I'm a way bigger Garchomp fan than most. Um, but I think overall, just like I would kind of put this in a similar zone to Tristan's, where I just think all the mons are solid. I think he doesn't have any gaping weaknesses.
The
I think
big issue
you take it away.
for me, the big issue for me is that if I'm using these 8 Pokemon, like 7 out of 10 times minimum, I'm using the first 6, and I'm probably not using the last 2.
Oh,
Like the first
absolutely,
6,
yeah.
yeah. So like I feel like every week is going to be almost exactly the same. And I do think he's limited to like Scarf Victini or Scarf Garchomp a lot of the time. That's kind of unfortunate. Especially with like I guess yeah, I guess you just run default Victini. That's fine. I kind of like the Mega Aggron pick. I'm not like huge on it, but it takes it in a slightly bulkier direction. I guess it's pretty good with Feeny. It's a nice defensive backbone.
At least he doesn't move physical fairies now.
But yeah, his speed tiers are kind of weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, the first 6 months are great, and that's good enough, I guess. If he's confident, he can just bring the same team over and over again with different sets and win, which I mean, I guess is possible.
Yeah, I think Feeny Buzzwole Aggron is like a good defensive backbone with
Yeah,
with
that's pretty
um
good.
with Chomp as an electric immunity. It's one of the better electric communities in the entire game. So
It's pretty
respect to that.
unfortunate that I think Scarf Chomp is going to be brought a lot of the time though. It's not since it's his first pick. I think that's a damn shame.
Yeah.
I could see it. I mean, I think in free agency he'll try to get maybe a faster Mon or just a more reliable Scarfer.
Yeah.
I think Scarftini is going to be the most likely Scarf.
Well, that's like a 1,000 removal though.
No, Victini.
Oh, shit, yeah.
Tapotini.
Okay, but I think Garchomp's kind of a glue Mon. So I mean I guess in the sense that Garchomp probably would be his best Scarfer, but it just has too much other stuff it's doing on the team. But yeah, no, I think this team works pretty well around Garchomp actually. I think there are a lot of things Garchomp can do with the backbone. But yeah, it does. I mean, it does feel like you're going to prep for 6 months. I don't know what I would specifically have to do to prep for a fucking Kangaskhan. I don't know, like have a steel type or something.
Bring your rock type.
Bring your Scizor and you're good.
Bring Scizor and I'm covered. It maybe has Fire Punch or something. I'm pretty sure
it does.
Yeah, he's like, oh, he's never gonna expect this Fire Punch Kangaskhan.
Yeah, but it's one of the mons where you're like, I mean, are you gonna bring Banded and do damage, or are you gonna not bring Banded? But if you bring Banded, you're just gonna get walled by everything.
Silk Scarf.
You're not gonna fucking hurt anything. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like Rosalia. Everyone knows what Rosalia is gonna do, and if you know, I mean, most teams you'll know if you're gonna have an issue with Rosalia. I mean, it's not like one of the things where you're like, oh fuck, Rosalia's here. What am I gonna do? It's like, oh yeah, a Roselia, right? That's it. That's the correct way.
It's whatever. I think Rosalia's maybe one of the good bargain bin grass types. So I respect it.
I think it's good because it does what it does pretty darn well.
Yeah.
Realistically speaking, but I mean, you should know exactly what it does. You're never gonna expect like a offensive Roselia to come sweep you.
Sure.
It's gonna be either like Spikes, Scald Absorber, pretty much it. A little bit blanket special wall. But I do like every mon, but I do think I agree. Speed tiers are a little weak. You don't want as someone who's used a lot of Mega Aggron, it feels worse and worse the more you have to rely on it for stuff. Especially if you don't have wish or anything or any way to really give it healing. I mean, like at that point, it starts to feel pretty bad. So I'm a little worried about that. That his but I like it. It's got all these mons have soft spots in my heart.
Do you
So I'm really biased.
do you want to move on to my favorite team?
Sure, Yeshua.
Joshua. I'm not gonna say his name. Anyways, dude, look at this. I think I pointed this out earlier. Every single Pokemon in this team is a potential sweeper. It's
Yeah.
actually insane. I mean,
And also, I mean, on top of that, all the mons are just good in their base form, which
sure,
is something that's hard to find.
yeah,
Is that it's not a mon that is actually relying on sweeping, but they're all just pretty good mons. And then they're also some of the most dangerous sweepers in the game. So
right.
I mean, I this is my pick for. I don't know if this is. I would say this is the best draft. This is my pick for the hardest to prep against. Just
Yeah,
because you're like, okay, here's how I don't get swept by Lando. Oh fuck, and then he's got Belly Drum Azu. Oh fuck, and then he's got Dragon Dance Haxorus. Oh wait, Comfy's a thing, and losing to Comfy's the worst thing in the world. It's just like a slow burn. It takes like 10 years to get through something, but it's the worst feeling in the world, and you never want that to happen to anyone. Um, so yeah, I think that's my pick for the hardest draft prep against. It's
my
just gonna be such a pain.
my other like superlative for this team, he has three of the strongest priority moves in the game in the form of Aqua Jet from Azu, Grassy Glide from Rillaboom, and then Haxorus's first impression. Like that is, and he can revenge kill pretty effectively,
It does slightly make up for his speed tiers being a little
Speed
bit
tier, yeah.
big time.
jankish, especially since his best Scarfer is for sure Jirachi, and that's also his only rocker.
No,
Uh,
Landorus, bro. Don't forget.
Yeah.
okay. But regardless, I do think it's pretty good. I don't really know why the Comfy's there, to be honest. He already has Azu, and I would just use Azu like every single time. But I mean,
I
Comfy's
think
kind of
he
cool.
did want to keep the mono sweeper motif going. And he was like,
Maybe,
fuck, I've run out. I've run out.
maybe,
So
yeah.
he didn't do it.
I really like the Incineroar pick like a lot. Like I like Incineroar as a mon a lot.
It's really good.
Its typing is really unique and it could do a lot in like SD. It could be like a bulky pivot with SD, or it could be like just a bulky pivot in general with status and parting shot or U-turn or whatever, and just spam knock infinitely until everything's knocked.
That's such a late Incineroar too. Props for that.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, I always reach and get Incineroar early because I think it's really good.
It's really good, yeah.
I think if you were to 95 to 97% of the time, I'd actually rather get Incineroar to Mega Houndoom, not to transition too early.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just me. But yeah, I think all the mods are good. I think the speed tiers are going to be kind of the main issue. I hope he doesn't just get blown away by like
Also,
Dragon Bolt or something like
weird-
that. But it's definitely possible.
Also, his hazard removal is like Rotom.
Yeah.
Right.
Eh.
Default Comfy is ass, bro. Don't do that.
Yeah,
But
don't do that.
I think if he actually just brings 6 setup mons each week, and if he wins the lead matchup, he just wins. Like it's like you don't really need defog if you just every mon is in once, it sets up and then it trades or kills or whatever.
I mean, regardless of anything, this draft is exponentially better than his draft last year. That's all I
Oh my god! Just from every standpoint, and he got runner up last season, so
Yeah, I mean, he could have drafted 3
Easy
Pokemon.
champion pick? Who knows?
Look at how beautiful those cores are, bro. Fire, water, grass, dragon, steel, fairy, looking great.
Bnast is over here just fucking staring at the typings.
I'm vibing, bro. You already know.
Yeah, I mean, I just think I've said this about like 3 drafts at this point, but I mean, like I think all the mods are just really good for their point values, I guess, which is why we're staring at this and thinking, man, this draft looks so good. It's because I think Haxorus is like a really threatening dragon. You really don't want to have to deal with that. And
Huge.
Incineroar, I think, is probably the best value fire type they gave.
Agree.
And so I think, yeah, I mean, if you compare this draft to a draft like Turkey, where we said, oh yeah, you basically only prep for 6. I mean, I would say the majority of these mons are just as threatening nothing quite hits Dragapult level, but Lando I comes close. These ones are just as threatening, and you have to prep for all of them. You know, like I said, unless you want to get really humiliated against a comfy one week.
Lewis,
But,
Lewis, you want to tell us your joke about ice?
well, it's not even a joke. It's just like a statement of fact, and it's honestly messing me up. Is that all of his Pokemon are either just visual design speaking, either a blob or a dog, and there's nothing in between. I mean, I guess Darmanitan is exactly in between a blob and a dog, but I mean, that's a little on the nose.
Right.
But like, yeah, I don't know.
We're also a bit confused about the early Licky Licky pick.
No, I'm not a kid. Early Licky Licky's broken.
All right, true, I guess.
Not actually, but yeah, no. I mean, I'm actually still having a mental block in examining the team at all, just because I keep on looking at how weird it is that everything's either the blob or the dog, and they're all in the exact same position. All the dogs look literally the exact same. Like, wow, fuck, Lando and Suicune and Houndoom literally are just. And I guess there's not much else you can do with dogs like that. But, what are you gonna do?
Right.
But, yeah.
I don't know.
The
This.
actual team.
Yeah.
No, you go.
It looks like it's lacking in a few key areas. There's no steel type. There's no grass type. Um, it's kind of slow. It's literally just Houndoom up there by himself. Scarf Ditto, obviously, is
Scarf Lando, maybe.
Scarf Lando, even Scarf Darm. Like,
Scarf Darm. He's got a lot of good scarves.
yeah. So that kind of makes up for it. But those are my main gripes. Maybe you guys have a different perspective.
I just, dude, how do people do these draft leagues and they just decide not to get a steal? I just don't understand how that could be like a thing that goes through people's brains. Because steal's like the most like it's like the most sought after. I don't know, typing.
It has like the most resistances of any pure typing, right?
I think the main issue in practicality is that because steel types are so good, they're all usually fairly expensive. I mean, like, I think it was like obviously the most common type in point value 16 was steel by like a fairly wide margin. So if you don't want to shell out a bunch of points for a good steel type, then you're just kind of left with like, fuck, do I get a bad steel type? Like, I mean, I'm asking myself. I mean, Reggie Steel would fit the motif of Blob. Would fit the motif, but would that make his team any better? I don't really think so. I think Reggie Steel is pretty cheap.
It's just weird to me to see multiple teams without a steel type when Skarmory, Escavalier, Klefki, Registeel, Mega Steelix, all of these went undrafted, bro.
Get a Escavalier this second.
It's kind of shocking, but I mean, I digress.
As for like how good the team is, I was actually thinking of getting Lando Darm. Like, I went into it. I went into like when the draft started, I had no idea what I wanted. I was like, damn, Lando Darm sounds pretty sick. Maybe just as like Darm. I mean, Lando just pivots on everything, and Darm clicks buttons, and hopefully things die. That was the idea. I do like Lele. Lele can help chip steals, and Darm just spams Ice Stab, hopefully, or vice versa. Not really. I feel like Suicune's super like random as fuck.
Yeah, absolutely.
It feels just like it was just like lobbed, just sitting there. I don't know. Licky again. Like maybe it's cool, like anti-weather, I guess, but I don't really know why you get it so early, especially when you're still lacking so much.
I can't actually think of a reason to ever pick up Galarian Slowbro.
It's not something we know much about, admittedly.
Yeah. I don't mind the Galarian Slowbro pick. I think it's okay. It's just Ditto. Also, one thing, he doesn't have a defogger outside of Lando. Now, he also doesn't have a rocker outside of Lando. So
rough.
What are you doing, dog?
Yeah. What is you?
Obviously, if you're running Darmanitan, you're gonna want a defogger. But without rocks, I don't know. You're kind of trolling.
What you doing, baby?
So definitely do some shit or something. Get rid of the Suicune for some like water type that does something with like utility or some shit.
But it wouldn't fit Dean. I can't think of another.
Alomomola is a blob.
Yeah, sure, get a blob. Yeah, that works.
Get a blob, buddy. Anything left on ice?
Yeah, so I have a couple thoughts.
Go for it.
So I have a little PTSD with Tapu Lele because back when Gen 7 came out, no one knew that it should be banned. And I remember I did a tournament where I drafted Mega Aggron because I was scared of Tapu Lele, and I thought I had, a good steel type to counter it. Pure steel, I even have filter for the Focus Blast. And then I was max SPDF, max HP, and I took 50% from a Psychic. And I was like, wait a minute. So I've still got PTSD from that. And Galarian Darm's kind of the Gen 8 version of that, where it's so powerful. It's going to be such a pain to switch into. So I think the two of those mons just give you a little bit of anxiety just looking at them, just the sheer power that's there. And then the rest of the draft is neither here nor there for me. Like you said, Lando is like constrained to being Defogger and Rocks.
It's so overworked.
Yeah.
And the Scarf. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And Scarf Ditto on everything because you can't run Scarf Lando.
I feel like Ditto's a little bit over the top here. Like, you have some good revenge killing options. I mean, I guess you don't want to get swept, but, the only mon that's really setup fodder is, like, Licky Licky and Suicune. And I think you could have just gotten, a little bit different mons there. But that's neither here nor there. I mean, I don't know what... maybe I'm just a fool, but, like, what... Galarian Slowpoke's a fairy resist? And that's its main thing, I guess?
Yeah.
Which I guess he kind of...
I think. Well, yeah, it does only fairy resist. Fuck, dude.
Yeah, I know, but it's not I mean, obviously, if you're talking offensive psychic types, he's got the offensive psychic type. Need to worry about another one. I mean, if you're talking about fighting resist, he's got, two of the better fighting resists in the game. And then, I don't know. It's just... It's hard for me to evaluate this team because there's just so many mental blocks in kind of. I get anxiety from looking at the two offense mons, and then I look at some of the blobs and I'm like, a couple of these are just useless. I don't know what he's going to be. So yeah, I'm having a hard time with this one. Maybe it is super threatening and I just don't get it yet.
No, I don't think so.
But I think it is. I think this is the one where you have to prep for the fewest mons in the team. Funnily enough, even though like. He's got a couple high point value mons. Did he finish with points left over? It feels like he did not spend as much points as everyone else. I don't know how expensive Galarian Slowpoke was, but I mean, like, it feels like people like Josh stretched out their points a lot more.
I'm pretty sure Ice bought 2 16-pointers, and that'll do it.
That
takes a toll.
And then I assume Lele was like 15.
It's up there. It's not 16, but it's up there.
So he did blow more than half his points in the first 3, and then I guess that'll happen. But
crazy. Shall we close with Dave?
Yeah.
No, let's close with SlickPanther or something.
What? Yo, you're trolling.
Yeah, let's go to Dave.
Stop, bro. What do you mean?
Dave really hates Rotom Wash. I don't know, dude. He's just a really big Rotom Wash hater, I guess. You got Mega Sceptile and Seismitoad. What a guy.
Yeah, for real.
Okay.
I have no fucking idea what that Urshifu thingy does.
It's Pangoro but faster.
It's Pangoro but faster, and I guess more reliable stab, kind of, but not really.
Also, the next 3 picks are literally just like, bro, I hate flying types so fucking much.
Yo, even Silvally, bro. He's like, I'm bringing Silvally electric.
Yeah.
Like, I remember in SMUU, there was like a period of time where Nilego and Rotom Heat were both viable, right? But they both generally did the same thing. I mean, even at the end of SMUU, they're both viable. But they both generally did the same thing. It's just that Nilego better pressures fairies and better checks like special birds, and Rotom Heat better checks steals, obviously, which Nilego doesn't at all. But like, why? Like, you already have Celesteela. Why go this far? It feels like somewhat redundant, at least. And also, Seismitoad and Sceptile also feel kind of weird. Like,
I think he's gonna get a lot of mileage out of Sceptile, just based solely on the fact that there's no more hidden power eyes. It's huge. It's massive.
I think Sceptile and Urshifu are, to me, the two best mons on the team. I think Celesteela is good. But I think in terms of support from the team and options that they're going to be able to bring each week, I think Sceptile and Urshifu are going to be the the
I
biggest
think
one.
Armory would be better than Celestial.
Yeah,
To be honest.
I'm not a huge fan of the Celestial, but
Spikes,
I get it.
And like Spikes would be pretty cool with new Lego, Sceptile, or Shifu.
I mean, this is one of the few teams that, I mean, obviously his two best mons are weak to flying and fairy, so I understand why he wants to get a really good steel type. But he's kind of has those covered elsewhere.
Yeah, he all ins on that shit. It's like crazy.
I'm gonna try to withhold from making really um, definitive judgments because there's a lot of unknown on the team for me. Like I'm a big Granville fan. Granville
I like
has
Granville.
been one of my favorite counter team mons for a long time. But I mean, Intimidate did get nerfed this gen, most notably against a lot of fighting types, which is what
Yeah, a lot of inner focus, a lot of scrappy on fighting
Granville,
types.
Granville, which was Granville's main deal. So it's like, that I think that is going to be a pain, and it sucks if your main fairy is is not good.
Yeah.
And then Silvally got buffed this gen, but Silvally's been historically pretty terrible. But I actually, when I saw the Silvally buff, I was like, wait, this is threatening. I could easily see this being better now. But I haven't really seen it do work yet. And Urshifu, I mean, no one knows what that thing's gonna do yet. No one really knows how much stronger a fast Pangoro is. But yeah, so I'm gonna withhold from judgment because a lot of it is really unknown to me. But yeah. I'm excited for it. I'm looking forward to it.
I do generally like the first two Pokemon. I mean, obviously, if you could have got like Corviknight and stuff, Celesteal, it would have been way better. But I mean, it's not everything's perfect, unfortunately. But I do generally like the first two. Maybe it's Skarmory. If you're gonna go that far for like flying types, you could just get Skarmory. It's still there. You could honestly probably like free some points up, and like still work around with your Pokemon. But I do generally like the first two. I really like. I really like Savali as well because it does kind of look like you need like some sort of like glue pivot, which Savali can just do at will, just whatever fucking typing it wants. So that's pretty cool. Maybe it could also act as like some speed tier Wincon or some shit, which is also cool here. I don't dislike it, but I'm not like a huge fan of it. It feels like somewhat flimsy with like a lot of fast threats and then like a Celesteela and a bunch of flying resist. So I don't know.
I don't know, man. That Firewater Grass, Dragonsteel Fairy shit, once again, looking beautiful.
Yeah,
If he could have gotten a fatter fairy, I think it would have been better.
Maybe.
He doesn't even really have, his dragon isn't 100% a dragon type.
Sure it is. Just click protect.
Yeah, I know, but you can't switch it in off the get-go, So stuff like that. It was a grass resist and a water resist always, but he doesn't need those. He's got stuff going on there.
Seismitoad is honestly like kind of like a dragon because like I think like a lot of things for dragons is switching into those like water breakers, like just like as like a blanket thing. Like, oh, there's a fucking like Starmie or Volcanion or whatever. It's like, let me put in my dragon. And Seismitoad does a similar thing, even if it doesn't resist grass, obviously.
I hope Granbull tears it up this season because I really like the mon. I'm skeptical that it will. I'm not a huge fan of Celesteela, but I understand why its appeal. And the dragon type is a dragon type 70% of the time, which is suboptimal. Hey. But I really like Mega Sceptile in this situation.
Speedsters. Wait, how fast is this fighting guy?
It's hacks for speed.
Okay, bro. Okay, then the Speedsters might need a little work because it's just Sceptile.
Yeah.
Like, you're gonna need to run like Scarf, like Knee Lego all the time. That's for like Rotom Heat, but that's gonna be like your Chief Hogger, I think. No, or no, I guess you have Savali, but I don't know.
All right.
I think the speed are a little lackluster, but I think he's got enough stuff going on. And Sceptile is so fast that it's like it's in a speed tier of its own, just below Scarvers, where it's like Yeah, so anything below it wouldn't really matter because they're just gonna have to bring a max speed Scarfer anyways. So it's there's that. But yeah,
All right.
uh,
Are we
so
satisfied?
Yep.
are we gonna say our favorite and least favorites, or whatever, however we want to do a final look
Sure.
back?
I already said mine. Josh, Hunter. I think I did my the best I could explaining. And after closer
We learned about each
examination,
other.
Ice is like he needs some work, bro. So
Yeah.
that's like maybe tied with Hunter. It might be worse than Hunter's. I don't know. It's my opinion at the end of the day. What about you guys?
My favorite is my own, and my least favorite is Ice because I was gonna do Ice's idea, but he did it and he did it horribly. Uh, and Hunter's is not the best, but I think there's something there. And my favorite's my own because I'm an egotistical bitch.
Who's the dude who didn't have a ground resist?
That's
Word life.
word
So
life. Yeah.
So I won't say it's my worst. I'm very concerned for this one because
Dude, he's got a thwack,
I,
dude. Get off him.
I do think the last couple mons are pretty close to useless, and I don't think the initial 6 are good
Yeah,
enough to carry
I
him.
don't like his drive
So,
either.
so I'm pretty concerned for this one, but I don't really feel confident calling any of these the worst. I mean, it's between Hunter, Ice, or Word Life for me. Best, let's see. I really like ShyGuys. Um, gosh, this is tough. I think probably ShyGuy or Josh would probably be my two, or Tort. I do really like Tort, but
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
the obvious one is Josh because Josh.
If I'm not gonna pick myself, I'll say my favorite's probably. Mm, man, if Rye had a steel type, I'd say Rye, but he doesn't.
If you got rid of that like Snorlax and put in
Yeah,
a steel type instead,
yeah. If just a few things are different, I'd say Rye, but probably um, I really like Wild. Probably Shy Guy or Wild.
Cool. Cool. All right.
what
Well,
do you think?
thank you.
If you gave your draft a positive rating, please Venmo us.
Yeah.
Um, we really need it.
Venmo Bnast, and he'll give us the money because
I'll I'll distribute the
he's a bitch.
funds to my associates.
Now, little pick'ems tips, for the pick'em sections of this. Always bet on me. Um, I don't know. Never bet on Hunter. Um, that's that, I guess.
Yep. Well, hope you all enjoyed. Goodbye.
Adios.
See ya.